The first deal I ever had was a customer that had a phishing attack and needed a solution within 1 hour, like to protect them.
Welcome back to another episode of Blue Square Security. Today, Michael and I interview Mark King, who is the America's Security Digital Sales Leader. He is based in Detroit, and our conversation takes us from his time pre-Microsoft to his current role in Microsoft. He's a 12-year Microsoft veteran, has been in technology for a number of years and focused almost exclusively around security. But the conversation takes us anywhere from artificial intelligence and Copilot to Sentinel and the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Very fascinating conversation today. Thank you so much for tuning in and hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, so thank you to Mark King for joining us here on Blue Square Security today. Mark, we've got a little bit of a different approach the way we're doing this today. And before we kind of lay that out, if you could just kind of give us a background of your career before Microsoft and then also leading into Microsoft and the role you're at currently.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Greg and Mike, for having me. I'm excited to be here with you guys today. As you mentioned, Mark King, I'm the America's Digital Security Lead for our enterprise digital sales business at Microsoft. So that's the US, Latin America. And my role in that is to lead a team of excellent enterprise digital specialists that sell security solutions into our customers. Before I came to Microsoft, so I've been at Microsoft for 12 years. But before I came to Microsoft, I worked a bunch of different consulting organizations. And as a consultant, I was doing mostly Microsoft solutions, mostly infrastructure related as well. Early on in my career. So some dev work early on, and then that evolved into productivity and security solutions from Microsoft. So I was at Accenture, left Accenture because I was traveling 5 days a week and was getting married, and that would have never happened if I was traveling 5 days a week. So was at Accenture for a couple of years, left and went to a smaller consulting company here based in Michigan called CDH, spent a couple of years there. Then went from there back to a larger consulting organization where I spent just a little bit of time as a lead architect for unified communications solutions, and then came to Microsoft. Here I've spent, again, 12 years, and I started off in our partner team, really focusing, actually, it was a partner sales team, really, in our small and mid-market space. And the role there was to work with partners who lead a lot of our business in that small and mid-market space. So these are customers that are about 500 seats up to about 2,000 seats. And spent some time there and really essentially covered 700 customers in the state of Michigan during that time. Ooh. With about 7 account executives that covered them as really one of the only technical people on the team. So it was a lot of fun, really interesting work. After that, I spent 5 years in our technology center here based in Michigan. So Microsoft has these Microsoft technology centers around the US and worldwide. And the role that I had there was as an architect. And an architect in our technology center really leads one of 3 different types of engagements: strategy briefings, or like executive briefings, architecture and design sessions, and then proof of concepts. I did most of my work there as in doing strategy or executive briefings, and then architecture and design sessions. Not a lot of proof of concepts in those facilities. Then I went into the field, back into the field, to be a specialist in our modern work and security business for a couple of years, and then I led our team of security specialists in the field for a couple of years as well, working in our West and Midwest regions. We combine these regions, and we have a geographic region that kind of goes from California to upstate New York that I worked in.
And so how many reps were on that team?
I had 9 reps on that team. During that time as a security specialist manager, I had a couple of different things. So at one time I had about 14 people that I had on my team, between specialists and technical specialists as well. So I really enjoyed being able to work with both the technical teams as well as the specialist sellers as well. It was a lot of fun just being super technical myself, being a geek, right? My whole life, or it was just one of those things where I really enjoyed working both with the technical sellers and the solution sellers. It's just like the best of both worlds.
No, it's an interesting career, but it's really, one of the big reasons we wanted to chat today is the time you spent overseeing the TSs and the SSPs, or if you're non-Microsoft listening to this, the SSP is a security specialist. And what I meant by taking a little bit of a different approach here today was trying to leverage what we have at our disposal here at Microsoft, and that is Copilot. So normally what we do is Michael and I will spend a little bit of time researching whoever we're going to interview. We look at their background. We pick a technology to focus in on. So we go out and we start researching that technology, just getting more familiar with it. But today, we put into Copilot, give us some questions on what we could ask a manager at Microsoft that is in a security role for a podcast. And some of the questions that we're asking are going to come from directly from Copilot, and some of them are going to be the more traditional route that Vitaly and I have come up with on our own. And then maybe at the end, you could
Tell us
give us
which
some
are better.
insight, which ones you think might be AI generated, might be human generated. But just
now I know why you didn't ask me or give me the questions ahead of time.
Exactly. Yes.
Test.
So
it'll be great.
Great.
Vitaly, I'm assuming you've got that list in front of you. I'll go ahead and ask the first one, and we can chat about that, and then I'll let you ask the second one, and we can just kind of go that way. So, sure. Considering you've managed a team of security specialists, and I'm assuming that team that you mentioned that was 9 and then included some TSs, I'm assuming that spanned from East Coast to West Coast, with that more of a national coverage?
So that when I managed the technical specialists, they were all in the Midwest region before we had combined with the West region. So they were, I think Chicago or Oklahoma was the furthest we went west at that time for the technical specialist, but they did go east, further east. I had a technical specialist that was based in New York.
Okay, so not geographically condensed by any means. Okay, so during that time, was there like a most common threat vector when you were talking to your 9 reps that said, "Hey, Mark, we're starting to see IoT, we're starting to see, cloud attacks"? Was there one part of the threat footprint that came up more often than not?
Yes, and so the territory that I covered at Microsoft, we have industry verticals, and then we have kind of traditional geographic regions. The space that I was in was mostly geographic regions. So we didn't have, specifically like technology or software or manufacturing or healthcare or life sciences or financial services. They had taken kind of those accounts and moved those into industry verticals. But when I look back into that time, I think about like the threats that we saw so much phishing. And I could tell you, like my first month in the job as a modern work and security specialist, the first deal I ever had was a customer that had a phishing attack and needed a solution within 1 hour, like to protect them. And so it was like week 1 of the job. I was actually out in Las Vegas at our conference, and I got a phone call, and they were like, "We need this solution now. What can you do to help us? We're getting attacked." So, and as you know, like human operated ransomware, phishing attacks, spear phishing, right? Those activities are endless. And there's a belief and a view that like tools can always solve this, right? But we always kind of, whenever we talk to customers, it's like, well, you're under an attack right now, and like a solution is going to help you to like help identify like immediate major threats and really to help protect your individuals. But like there's a training aspect of this that you're far behind on. So for me, again, like back when you got to think like this is 3 or 4 years ago, 3 years ago or so, and it continues today, right? If you look at what just happened in Las Vegas, I mean, that's not necessarily a phishing attack that happened, but it's social engineering, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's on the backs of about everything. So these are human operated. these are people that are, at some point really starting to understand. I mean, they simply looking at a LinkedIn profile, finding a help desk technician, calling in, social engineering a help desk, getting a password, and there you have the keys to the kingdom within, a couple of hours.
Was this pre-COVID then?
That was pre-COVID. The Vegas thing was, last month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was pre-COVID. That was, yeah, that was in 2017, 2018. That really was really prevalent. But that, I mean, phishing attacks, I mean, that there was nothing new from that standpoint. These were just
nothing new, but when COVID hit, the phishing counts went up by, I think it was either 200 or 300% when everybody got sent home. So, silver lining for whoever that customer was, they got in and got a good solution prior to that ramp up in attack. So I guess these are always hard to hear and talk about, but there's obviously a silver lining to that. So
yeah, absolutely. And now, like, as I kind of think about, what nation state attacks, like when you think about our customers and the expectations that, are on the security operations centers, that are on entry level SOC analysts, or even, I mean, keeping SOC analysts from burning out, and the expectations that we have on security organizations in general, and the weight that we put on their backs. I mean, Boeing just announced, right, just today, right, a malware attack in their organization. It's whether you're a small company, whether you're one of the largest in the world, right? These things are so, again, human operated, nation state attacks. We need to make sure that our customers have solutions that help them, first off, operate automatically to protect their organization, that we have solutions that for them can help them, reduce the risk of burnout in their security operations centers, because their teams have to try and figure out how, where the threat came from, follow the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and try and figure out how to protect their environment. And then, of course, from our side, like, not just protect it, but assume that they're being attacked, and operate in that fashion from now on.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk to people, this is more of an IT industry overview, but like when you talk to somebody at an event or just casually outside work and you hear that they're in IT, burnout's a real thing. Because I can't remember the last time I talked to somebody in IT and I asked, well, what do you do? Nobody does just one thing. If you're in IT, you wear 8 or 9 hats regardless of what you do, and burnout is obviously a real thing. So Vitaly, if
I didn't have this much gray hair before I started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's why I just shaved my head.
There you go.
So sticking, we were kind of talking about the solution. So everybody has an opinion on on this one. Microsoft obviously has theirs too. Can you just give us your take on what you want to call it, best of breed point product approach versus the more of a platform approach to things? And obviously some of it comes into integration, and we talked about the retention and some of those types of things and burnout. So just want to hear your thoughts on that.
I was like, it actually was a perfect segue into it, right? I just talked about burnout.
You teed me up.
Yeah, I just talked about burnout, right? I mean, but I'll say, I started at Microsoft in 2011. Okay, this was after Bill Gates' letter on trustworthy computing, right? So there was that, right? Was already kind of in play when you started talking about like protecting customers or protecting systems in the software that we build, and then in the responsibility that Microsoft has. Okay, so that was after that, but Microsoft was still, like, you got to think, in 2011, I think we had just like really started getting into the security space. Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite was not available yet. Intune was not a solution. We still had, primarily, I think it was called SMS back in the day, right? Now it's SCC. I think we go from these 3-letter acronyms to 4-letter acronyms for some solutions just because it's fun. But my point in that is, like, I was talking to customers about securing their environments and securing solutions, and it was very hard to talk about that from a Microsoft standpoint, because we were We were not a security company. Okay. We have come a long way. And as you look at like Gartner Magic Quadrant, as you look at like industry standard, right, benchmarks around our solutions, like there is an idea around platform versus best of breed, right? But there are a lot of platform companies that are also best of breed. Okay. So I think, taking that as an initial kind of point I wanted to make is that we have had to fight the platform-based conversation. We had to fight the platform-based conversation a lot more in my early days of selling security solutions, right? In 2015, 16, 17, 18, even, hey, yeah, we understand that we're not top right Magic Quadrant at the time, right? But hey, a platform-based approach is more important, right? Trying to sell that vision around it, because it is almost impossible for our customers to think that they can integrate every platform, every solution that they own from a security standpoint. When you think about all of the different types of solutions that our customers have, and I love that slide that Microsoft has that shows like, here are all of the products that you may have in your organization, and here, like as you think about identity protection, you think about data protection, you think about e-discoveries, you think about email, and all of the different different attack vectors that your customers, that your end users have. You have to think about how are you protecting and how are you detecting those solutions. So take a step back and truly answer your question. Platform or best of breed, right? I always love talking to customers about that, because what if best of breed is actually best of platform? Like that's a true capability. And it's not just Microsoft that has that, right? But as you think about the biggest scale of integration abilities that a company could have, when you look at true end-to-end security, as you think about protecting cloud, so protecting endpoints from code, right, or chip to cloud, Microsoft is really in a category of one in that space, right? As we provide input into our manufacturers, like Intel and AMD on the chips, NVIDIA, as we kind of go all, as think about Surface and the firmware capabilities that we have to protect our devices from that standpoint, by the way, update firmware on those devices, all the way up through, true cloud security posture management, and the only platform, right, truly the only platform that will be available later on, right, with Security Copilot, to be able to go and leverage just unbelievable assets within inside of our organization. In an organization like ours, with the information that we're able to see, there's no company like Microsoft that can protect your organizations, our customers' organizations. And I truly believe that. It doesn't mean that Microsoft can do everything. It doesn't. And so partnerships are really important for us as well. But when you look at integration and the expense of that, as you look at, simply like our customers, every time that they have to negotiate an agreement with another vendor, that is another process that they have to manage. It is another license agreement they have to manage. And that's not a play for Microsoft to just say, hey, it comes in this bundle, right? But for our customers, ease of acquisition, ease of deployment and integration, and then of course, the benefit that you have in the back end of saying, hey, with Microsoft, I know, and it's not just protecting Microsoft solutions. It is with Microsoft, I know that I can protect my entire estate. And I can do that with one integrated platform that I truly believe is in a category of one.
When you started talking about the Magic Quadrant and you mentioned Gartner, I immediately go to SIEM XDR in our offering Sentinel, because you mentioned going all the way back to like 2018-ish. We weren't even on the radar in 2018, and in 2022 we are top right. I don't think last year we were the furthest up and to the right, but I think this year we are. And then you couple that with the investment that Satya has committed to just security.
Yeah.
I think it was $5 billion a year. That quadrant has so much more significance now. And if we're not at the far top right, we certainly plan to be.
Yeah.
And it's cool 4 years ago in technology isn't all that long, but not even being on the radar 4 years ago to going to top right and surpassing some of the leaders in that category is amazing. And we're doing that on multiple technologies, all under one offering that is a platform. So the way you stated that was interesting, and just kind of got my brain turning a little bit.
Yeah, like I was part of an early customer that was really ready to invest in Sentinel. They had invested in Defender for Endpoint early on as well. This is, again, 2017, 2018. They were maybe 2019. They were ready to move forward with Sentinel. It had just, we had just announced it. It had just come out of preview. This customer was going to deploy it, and we had the reason I bring it up is because where our product is at is a testament to the feedback and the partnership that we get from our customers and our partners to make sure that products like that come to market and they're different, right? A SIM is a SIM, right? A log aggregation, but the important piece of that part is the ML models and the artificial intelligence behind the scenes, and it's also the SOAR capabilities that are built in natively to that. So, I confidence that in our solutions, we are top right? We're Forrester Wave, Gartner Magic Quadrant, right, for that. And as you kind of think about that, it is amazing to see where we came from that product from a place of it not being a solution to being the best cloud native SIM that our customers are choosing to replace other products that have either been recently acquired or that have legacy on-premises capital investment requirements. We didn't take a product and just say, here's that product and now we're going to make it in the cloud. This product was developed for the cloud. It was developed for a SaaS-based solution, and it is honestly, like, our customers have seen the value in this platform, and it is one that is exciting for them to continue to move forward with.
No, if you haven't seen a demo of Sentinel, and that's something that you're interested in, that is worth discussing because it is an amazing product.
Yeah.
You also mentioned machine learning and AI, and I promise we did not, prepare this prior to this conversation, but this is the next question on the list here. We've got a data lifecycle management webinar coming up this week or next week, and doing that, we did some research as to where we shine, where we don't shine, and part of it was one of the slides that we have is 70% of organizations are now using machine learning and AI to assist with their security. Are you seeing that number being supported with the customers that you talk to? Do you think more than half of your customers have adopted the AI approach, or is that still kind of a shiny new toy for a lot of folks?
AI, I would say every vendor says they have an AI solution that's tied. Like, is it really AI or is it ML, right? Is it just a machine learning model that is doing some UEBA, user behavior analysis work, right? Or is it actually acting on behalf of the humans on the back end, right? We just announced last month or so that Defender for MDE, now leveraging AI capabilities, not ML capabilities, leveraging AI capabilities, can now work to stop human-operated ransomware by itself, right? That is leveraging artificial intelligence to stop things from happening, right? If that is possible, right? Are our customers using ML? 100%, right? I would say every customer. So if I were to split it out, I would say all of them, majority of them are using some machine learning models to help with their security posture management. And a good majority are starting to leverage artificial intelligence for it as well. Think about like how you prepared for this conversation and how you kind of got your questions. The thing that I would be concerned with is, how are they using AI? Are they using AI in a way that's like, hey, I'm starting to see some traffic from this. I'm going to go out to ChatGPT or Bing Chat or Bard or something like that and try and do some research for that. That's using, they could be using AI then to support their security operations center. Is that the thing that I think that they should be doing? Probably not, right? So making sure that they're using and protecting their information in their organization by leveraging a commercial-based solution that protects their data. Yes, they should be leveraging something like Azure OpenAI M365 chat, Bing chat for enterprise, something like that, that protects their corporate data from going outside their organization. So I would say, yes, I feel like a good number of our customers are using AI. I think that there's a lot to be left to be desired in how they're doing it though today. There's a lot of great solutions that are kind of on the doorstep that are getting ready to be released. Some that have been kind of announced to be released, and that's either through us or through our competitors in that space. But I think what you'll see is that our customers that are starting to think about taking advantage of like Security Copilot, we have our EAP going on for Security Copilot that just started. This is transformational when it comes to AI. This isn't like I'm going to go out and ask a question about how to stop an attack from happening or how to recover from XYZ malware attack. This is, I mean, if you've seen the demos, if you have not, please reach out to your team. But like, this is transformational artificial intelligence. It's why it takes time to build these solutions. But the models behind this with GPT-4 and it's incredible what security with whatever level you are in an organization will be able to do to help understand what is going on in their environment and help protect their environment and help respond immediately leveraging AI. It's gonna be amazing. But
it's taking action versus going out and conducting research, which you can conduct research in a number of different ways, and how quickly you get your information back, maybe that saves you a little bit of time. But what we're talking about is removing one of the many hats that people are wearing in the world of IT and letting AI take one of those hats. And the demos are, jaw-droppingly amazing. I mean, it is cool what the capabilities are forthcoming. So it's an exciting time to be here at Microsoft. It's an exciting time to see what this AI is capable of doing. And again, if that's a demo that you haven't seen, I would highly recommend reaching out to your team, because it is, if you're a geek like us and you kind of get excited around the new gadgets and the new technology, this is one that is on a different level, just to put it plainly. All right, so Vitaly, I think you've got the next one, and I think
I'm gonna change it up a little bit, and that's
what
you get for asking me to do this podcast with you. So, so we obviously were talking about AI and Copilot, and I guess the term sometimes we use is everything that can be used for good can be used for the other. So I'm just curious to get your thoughts on, with the emergence of ChatGPT and some of the other models, what do you see as the concerns? I mean, the attacks are already sophisticated enough. What do you see as the concerns going forward with like ChatGPT and what the other side can do with it?
I think those were realized like really quickly early on, right? Hey, create me a malware package based on help identify a bug in this code that I've those things are real, right? That is very real, and it takes the level of knowledge from a individual down a level, right? Yeah. I don't have to be an expert in understanding how to do something. I can simply go into a script that was written that I may have purchased on the dark web for a couple of bucks, right? And take that and put it into an AI engine and say, what does this really do? What is this doing? How do I make this do this? Right? And it writes a code snippet for you. It's super important that we take AI responsibly. And it is a core tenet. Like, other organizations may say, that they understand the impact that AI can have. But I'll tell you, as an enterprise organization, as a company that is one of the most attacked companies in the world, Microsoft, right? And as one that values the relationships with our customers, because honestly, if we don't protect our customers' data, if we don't protect our customers on their devices with our solutions, if we don't maintain that partnership with our customers, with our solutions, then we have nothing. And we truly have, we are an enterprise organization, enterprise B2B sales organization. We are an enterprise software company. We're also a consumer software company. We're a gaming company, right? With the Activision Blizzard acquisitions, you kind of look at all of this all of those things. Xbox Live, right, as one of the largest consumer environments, we have to make sure that trust is number one. And for us, AI, right, and the trust in our systems, we have to make sure that our tools don't provide for the ability to do that. We have to make sure that other LLMs that we leverage don't have the ability to do that, right? Our partnership with ChatGPT is very strong. OpenAI is very strong. So, and then working together with other companies that are developing AI solutions that continue to evolve their solutions to make sure that we are all doing this in a method that is better for people. It is not making solutions that are worse for people. We're continuing to make life better for people by leveraging AI. It's one of the things that I love about that too. Microsoft's position on so much of this stuff too is like, we call our solutions Copilot, right? We don't call it autopilot for a reason, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea behind this is that the human is in charge, right, of the solution, and we leverage this as our wingman, right, wingwoman, right, as a wing person. We got to think about like how we work the environment to make sure that I'm the one that's making the decisions. But it's important that when I try and make decisions that are bad, that the system will not respond with the information on how to make things bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, the way I looked at it, right, with Security Copilot, I've been talking about, we talked about the burnout, we talk about the stats change all the time, but 4 million gap, and it can lower that barrier to entry. But what you worry about, you don't want it to lower the barrier of entry on the other side either. Take a script kiddie to a whole nother level. That's
100%.
what you don't want to have happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, again, that we don't need a whole bunch of powerful script kiddies, but we know that like the most powerful people right now are the nation state attackers, and we have to just make sure that these tools don't provide them the even more access to information that they need access to, right?
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 more questions. One, we end with the same question every time, and Vitaly will end with that question. With the exception of artificial intelligence, and you mentioned that you've been in technology for a number of years now, so it's not like this is a question that's being asked to somebody that's new to role or new to the industry. That's the polite way of calling everybody on this call older. Yeah. So the cybersecurity landscape has continued to evolve over the year. And obviously, we've talked a lot about Copilot, and we've talked a lot about just artificial intelligence as a whole. But where do you see the cybersecurity landscape moving in the future, with the exception of AI? And that may be a difficult question to answer because AI is so prevalent.
I don't think it is.
Right, you got thoughts on that?
Yeah, we see it almost monthly right now, which is consolidation of the industry, right? There are companies that are going to focus on product and making sure that our customers are secure, and there are companies that are going to make sure that they focus on profit, right, as a primary. Wherever you think about, how investment organizations work in this world, right? When you start to see like companies that make large acquisitions like that, and their VC firms or whatever, like, we've seen that happen to a lot of our competitors in the past number of years, right? Won't name names, but as they continue to be acquired, you start to see customers move away from them because A, they only care about their top 1,000 customers, right? Because that's where they know that their profit's at. B, the customers that they do keep are mad because their product isn't innovating at the level that it used to innovate at. So we start to see struggles with that. So again, I see continued consolidation. The second piece that I see is that the competitors that you see today, the excellent competitors, whether it's a Palo Alto Network or a CrowdStrike or Microsoft or others, what you're going to continue to see is that there will be, and I won't use the word AI, but there are very few companies that can innovate to provide solutions that cost that much money that are not hyperscalers, right? So look at Amazon, Microsoft, Google, right? are the 3 hyperscale companies. You can maybe add in an IBM or an Oracle right on top of those, or so whatever you want to kind of start to think about. Those are the companies that are going to be continuing to acquire solutions to integrate them into their products, because they understand that a platform is what our customers need, and that certain solutions like artificial intelligence require you to have data, right? They require you to have data to act on things, right? So while I'm not saying that AI is the answer to everything from a security standpoint, you're going to see consolidation in these organizations and bringing products into the fold and trying to like fully integrate them into their platform, into their stack, so that they get the data, so that they can act, better and help our customers be more secure.
No, that's such a good answer too, and it's one that for whatever reason escaped me. But we started talking about point products and platform. It was kind of it almost seemed like it was a teed up answer there, but that's an insightful answer, and one that escaped me. As I reading this question, my mind directly went to AI. But when you take that out of it, consolidation is such a good answer. So the last question is one that we ask the same way pretty much every time. And Vitaly, you can wordsmith this however you want, but it's one that requires you to put on a thinking cap a little bit, because it's fictional.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So you have just today, November 2nd, become the new CISO at, pick your favorite company for you, Michigan State, Detroit Lions. That's fine. What is the first move that you would make as the CISO?
Man, retire.
That was not an option, Mark.
You signed a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
I feel for my customers, my CISO partners. I feel for the work that they do, the thankless job that they have. So I think probably the most important thing that you have as a security professional, security leader, is a network, right? A network of people, a network of external thought leaders. So I don't know that I would have a first thing that I would do. Of course, maybe my first thing that I would do is to meet with my leadership team and understand the current kind of landscape that we have in our organization, to kind of initiate a review of our procedures, kind of surfacing all the way from the software that we use, the type of devices that we use, the attack vectors in our organization, the legacy that we have in our organization, all the way to like what is our recovery practices, and when's the last time we practiced that. So for me, I think that would probably be my first thing I would do, is kind of initiate a full review of our security landscape in our organization, and that would likely be done both internally and externally, right? A true external review of our organization, because there's a fear a lot of times inside of organizations, especially from an individual contributor standpoint, or even a manager, to be the person that comes in and tells the boss that we have a red on the scorecard, right? There's a great book called American Icon. It's written by Bryce Hoffman, and it's about Alan Mulally when he first took the helm at Ford Motor Company. And during all of his executive leadership meetings, all of the vice presidents from all across different engineering parts of the organization would always come in, and everyone had greens on all their scorecard, right? Turns out they were absolutely not green behind the scenes, right? I guess 2 reds don't make a green, right? In most organizations. So in the book, and it kind of talks about, when somebody finally brought a yellow to the table, right? And everybody thought, like, you come in, you tell your boss, like, something's not going right, or I have a problem, or things aren't as perfect as they can be. And maybe it's me, maybe it's my, like, whatever it is. You have to have the courage to say, like, I don't know. When you have new leaders in the organization, sometimes the people are afraid to say like, hey, there's something wrong here, right? There's something going on, and I just need you to know about this, and I need help on it, right? So that's probably one of the things that I see the most in our security organization, that you see in organizations in general, whether it's a sales organization, whether it's a security organization. So for me as a CISO, you need to make sure that you're building that trust within your team, that they feel like they can come and tell you that there's problems, and trust but verify as well that there's not the problems, because you're going to need to make sure that people feel confident in their job. People feel like they're not going to get fired if they tell you something bad. So again, that review is, to me, super critical. And again, it involves internal and external parties.
Yeah, it's a good answer. And one thing I've noticed, and maybe I'll call it your geekiness a little bit, but you've mentioned hardware in two different fashions over the course of the conversation. You mentioned the NVIDIA chip earlier and bringing security all the way down to the chip level. And then in the hypothetical, you talked about, checking hardware. Do you think, and this is this is just me off the cuff here, but do you think that hardware gets overlooked when people are talking about security?
Oh yeah. When I first started at Microsoft, there was the Intel bug that everybody had to update their BIOS for, remember? Like, and then you kind of found out that, like, what was that called? There was a hack back in the day. I forget what it was called now. But everyone had to update all their BIOSes on their chips, on their devices. And like, first off, like, to update the BIOS on a PC, on a laptop, on remote device, like, that is not an easy process to do.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like sending a Windows update to a device, or making sure they update their iOS devices,
or just simply be connected to the internet. It's not like that.
Right. So like that hardware is and that's, by the way, on enterprise managed devices, it's not easy. What about unmanaged devices? What about printers? What about IP telephones, cameras? Look at manufacturing customers, shop floor devices, CNC mills, all the different devices that control manufacturing systems, healthcare endpoints, MRIs and CT scans, and all the legacy endpoints that you have in healthcare. Think about ATMs. Hardware is absolutely overlooked, and it's terrifying, right? That would be, if I live in Michigan, right? The big three, all of these automotive suppliers. It is devastating to think about, like, first off, you shut down a line at one of the big three, it costs you millions of dollars an hour up until you get
the heart of the business.
Heart of their business. And what happens if you're Maersk, right? And you're attacked? What happens if you're a supplier and you're attacked and you've shut down? Like, you have to recover your solutions, and those could be, they could be persistent. If you think about rootkits, if you think about like that type of malware, that type of exploit, it's dangerous, it's scary, but it's something that there are solutions to help you identify and protect your environments. That you have to think holistically about your solutions. So you have to think holistically. By the way, I didn't even mention energy systems, which scare the crap out of me, because power plants, nuclear power plants, things like that too.
No, that's a scary one. I think about NotPetya when I hear that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming up on time, and thank you again for being so gracious with your time. Instead of making you guess, so again, we leveraged Copilot to come up with a guide for today's questions, and it even gives you, the obligatory introductory components, and then it gets into here, and the ones that we've got labeled here, CP for Copilot. The best of breed approach question was Copilot. The landscape was Copilot. And then we didn't ask this one because you actually went into, without being asked, a real world example of attacks. And then a couple that we didn't get into were down here. But this is the M365 Copilot. And it's just cool to see how a very simple question of, I'm going to give you the basis of who we're talking to, why we're talking to them, and need some guidance on how to do that in a professional manner. And it gave us step by step how to do this. And we just thought it was a unique way to kick off this FY24 podcast episode. So
That's
they want to
great.
make you
Very
guess
cool.
on that one. Yeah,
I love
very
it.
cool.
I use M365 Copilot the last month or so, and it's been so much fun to use. It's been whether it's helping me create some presentations, rewrite a bullet point that I didn't think was great, and I could have summarized it better. I don't tell my boss, but I use it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I think it's like,
Well, again, Mark, thank you for letting us get on your calendar today. We'll certainly let you know when this episode gets posted. And then just for anyone that's listening, we mentioned a couple times, if you're interested in learning more about Copilot or Sentinel or any of the security offerings that we've got, please do reach out to your digital specialist and let us have an in-depth conversation. No selling, just kind of a fact-finding mission. So again, Mark, thank you so much. And
thanks for having me, guys.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thanks.